All right, so if you're thinking of moving to the San Antonio area or relocating here, well, this is a channel for you. And today I'm going to give you my experience of what it was like deciding where I wanted to move and why I chose San Antonio, Texas. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Lily Handy Dominguez, and I'm a realtor here in the San Antonio area. So if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything and anything about San Antonio living, community, things to do, well, I do tons and tons of videos about everything and anything that you would like to know about the San Antonio metro area. So make sure you tap that subscribe button and ring that little bell or click that little bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video, because I'm having fun with this. We get lots and lots of calls, text messages, emails, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking of moving or relocating to the San Antonio area, well, reach out to us, give us a call, send us a text or an email, or that little pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back with moving to San Antonio, Texas. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm going to tell you 5 different reasons and what I did, what research I did before I moved to San Antonio, Texas. Well, I lived in Oregon for about 19.5 years. I traveled to so many different countries in my previous career as an engineer. So I was used to meeting people from different countries, different cultures, love eating all the different types of foods, beer, wine, you know, experimenting, trying. Never turn it down before you try it, because you just might like it. And I love to try a lot of different foods and meet the local in the community. I also traveled almost every state in the United States. A few states that I'm missing, mostly the northern parts. And I just love that travel. So before I started, okay, so I'm gonna look at my notes. Because I don't have it memorized, right? I'm being myself and sharing with you part of my experience. So the first main reason that I moved was I love the diversity of people. Here in San Antonio, I actually moved from South Texas, because from being in Oregon for 19 years, you know, family said, hey, why don't you move back home, which is in southern Texas, a little town called the Mercedes, where I grew up. Well, when I left there, I said, never, never, never will I come back. Well, never say never, right? And we moved because of family. And I wanted a lot of sun. I liked the warm weather, even though I had awesome fun when I was in Michigan in college, doing things in the snow, in the ice. And I love the Oregon mountains. Oh my gosh, I feel so happy and comfortable in the forest, in the woods, rivers, creeks, mountains, lots of animals, and greenery. So Texas had a lot of that to offer, okay, but not the mountains. We've got hills, all right, and not real mountains. Unless you go to the west coast of Texas, then we have El Paso, and there are a lot of mountains there, but they're more deserty, and I'm not a desert rat. I also lived in El Paso, so I moved around a lot during my career and my marriage. So when I moved to South Texas, little town of Mercedes, I lasted there 8 years, and I moved for family, and real estate was doing much better there than in Oregon. This was back in about 2011. Well, as the years went on, I wasn't happy with it, even though I loved the beach, and the beach was only an hour away. So here in San Antonio, lots of diversity of people. I get to meet people from all different countries, cultures, food, different languages, okay? So I love that. So that was one great reason. okay, to move to San Antonio. And the people were friendly, okay, outgoing. So secondly, I evaluated the cost of living of 4 major cities in San Antonio, Texas. I discussed it with my daughter that was in Oregon, and I had to look at the cost of living, location, and those types of things. So we went over the 4 major cities because, of course, larger cities, metropolitan areas have a lot more opportunity for jobs and security, higher income, salaries. However, I wanted that small town feel, okay, that I had in Oregon and that I also had in South Texas. So, and I didn't want to spend a bundle on buying a home or renting because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, even though I've owned a home since 1991, okay, in different states. So when I evaluated the cost of living for San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, and Austin, San Antonio had the #1 best cost of living for homes, utilities, groceries, other expenses, outdoor fun, restaurants. And so that was one of my reasons to make that decision, okay? So that was my reason #2, was the cost of living. I have family in Dallas, I have family in Houston. However, I moved to Mercedes for different reasons, and one of them was family. Well, it may work for you, but it doesn't work for everybody. And it didn't work for me. Okay, I'm a single person, and so I like more outdoor activities. I'm a nerd, okay, I'm worldly, I like adventure, and, you know, backpacking and all that kind of stuff, and my family's not really into a lot of that. So make sure you tap that subscribe button and ring that little bell, or hit that little bell, so that you get notified every time I post a new video, because I'm having fun with this. So then my third reason for moving to San Antonio compared to the other cities was that San Antonio, when I traveled here to visit friends and other family, because I have 2 brothers that have lived there most of their life here, okay, and one of them still lives here in San Antonio. But I didn't want to move for family reasons, okay? I wanted to move for what I wanted, for what I liked, and was going to be practical and convenient for me. So in San Antonio, it has the small town feel. You know, the suburbs, it's like all inclusive in a little town. I live in Alamo Heights. That wasn't exactly where I was going to live. I didn't know where I was going to live, right? Like most of you. So my brother lives in the Leon Valley area. Great older community where both brothers lived, and it was a really expensive area when I was a lot younger and they were there. However, it's very well established, really green, beautiful homes, but I still wasn't sure, okay? And I wasn't sure if I wanted to sell my house in South Texas. So, you know, that type of thing. So I wanted everything to be conveniently located for where I was gonna work, about 10 to 15 minutes at the most. And the average in the US is about 24 minutes commute, okay? And that's what I learned in my cost of living evaluation, cost of living index, okay? And so I searched and searched and searched for homes, and I searched for apartments. I had to make a quick decision to move out. I didn't have any furniture. My house was totally furnished in South Texas, right? And so I started looking for apartments because I had to move quickly. Things changed, okay? And so I took 3 days, okay, to research different apartment complexes. I must have visited 5 to 8 apartment complexes every day. And so wouldn't you know it, the last day, the last place I visited was the one that I fell in love with. Well, there were some things that I was looking for. I wanted a parking garage to protect the car because we do get some hail every now and then and strong winds. And so I didn't want my car to end up having dents to hailstorm. So a parking garage. I wanted an inclusive washer and dryer since I didn't have my appliances. They were all at my home and I didn't want to relocate them. Undecided about selling my home or renting it. I wanted to make sure it was close to work, that it was newer, that it had an awesome pool. If you're gonna be in Texas, you wanna be able to have a pool or a pool in the community, have access to swimming, or be able to drive and go to South Padre Island, which I am close to about 4 hours. So I do miss South Padre Island. However, it's about a 4-hour drive from San Antonio or 5-hour drive to South Padre Island, which is in the bottom tip of Texas, or to Houston, about 2.5 hours, and Galveston. However, I love the South Padre Island beach, which is close to Port Isabel and Brownsville, okay? So I said, okay, so I'll still have access to my beach, not maybe every weekend, but I'll still have access to it, you know, when I get that, you know, wild hair that I want to rush down there. So in the meantime, I got an awesome pool. I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna pay for rent, I want these amenities. So this apartment complex had granite countertops, was all new appliances, tiled flooring, and it was small, since I had gotten used to living in a small home. So we can really adjust, okay? I've lived in huge homes and in 560 square foot homes. So we start to learn that, hey, you know, we don't need all that stuff. And I'd sell whatever I owned when I moved and just kept the main things, right? For me, my cars, my motorcycle, you know, some antique furniture that I bought in Oregon. So I had memories of Oregon, you know, things like that. And I had I have a cargo trailer, right? A 14-footer. And that's where I move things with. And I would tow it with my SUV. And so San Antonio provided all that for me as far as the small town feel. And I selected Alamo Heights because it's right real close to the airport. It's close to downtown. It's close to the Pearl. It's walking distance. I walk to and jog to coffee shops, okay, restaurants, nightclubs, you know, day bars or something like that, okay? So I could go have a dark beer, even though in Texas they're like, girl, what the heck are you doing drinking a dark beer here in Texas? It's hot. I said, well, I love those dark beers. They just have an awesome taste. And I got used to them in Oregon. Deschutes beer, oh my gosh, you know, Black Butte Porter, that was one of my favorites, and red wine. And so I had all that available when I saw Alamo Heights. I just fell in love on the 3rd day with the last apartment, and it was higher than what I wanted to spend. Okay, I didn't want to go above $900 or $1,000 a month, because I hadn't rented since '91. And, you know, I'm more into investing, buying and holding, or buying and reselling as owner finance, you know, and getting that cash flow. I love having multiple streams of income. So renting was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna put all that money into rent every month. But I wasn't ready to buy, and I wasn't ready to buy. Okay, so I rented this apartment for like $1,300 and something. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna develop my business, start here in this area. So I've been here now about 2 years, and I absolutely love the San Antonio, Alamo Heights area. There are so many small communities within San Antonio, you know, in these suburbs, in the center, downtown, northwest, northeast, north, you know, and south. But this is where I picked. So, you know, I'll drive 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes to wherever I wanna go. It's conveniently located. Okay, the 4th thing that I loved about San Antonio, it is so green. Lots of trees, shrubs, mature, developed communities. Okay, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Olmos Park, Northeast San Antonio, Stone Oak, almost anywhere within the center of town, and 15, 20 minutes, it is so green and luscious. So it reminded me some of Oregon, even though we didn't have the pine trees, all the evergreens. So we have other kinds of trees. We do have a lot of cedar trees, so if you're allergic to cedar, you're gonna experience the cedar allergies and mold allergies coming from the ground, which I experienced that. I can get over that with taking a little allergy pill, the over-the-counter, right? So San Antonio has hills, okay, not mountains, which I love hiking and climbing mountains. So it was still okay, and there's a lot of country. Oregon had a lot of country for me. I'm a country girl, you know, I'm versatile. And I love that country feel. Wearing my boots, my cowboy hat, which I haven't worn in a while. And Texas has that to offer. So if I really wanted to go to something a little bit higher, then I go out in the country to the hill country and get a little bit more of that. But I still feel like I'm in the country and take some of the back roads. And then finally, the location in San Antonio. Okay, real close to the airport. When I compared the cost of traveling from my hometown of Mercedes to Oregon or the East Coast, it was like $600, even if I planned ahead of time. And here in San Antonio, a round trip to Oregon, wow, $264 if I planned it in advance a little bit. I could go for the weekend, okay, and come back. So San Antonio is almost seems centrally located within the state of Texas. And I love that. 4 hours south, I have family. 5 hours north, I have more family. 2.5 hours, 3 hours east to Houston, I have other family. Austin, an hour to an hour and a half, I have friends. So I felt centrally located. I had the best of all worlds. So then, when I finally went home and decided, okay, I think it's time. I thought about it for about 3 years. Okay, on this location, where was I gonna go? Oh, and another place that I wanna go back and travel to is to Europe. So from Oregon, the expense to Europe was really high. From South Texas, really high because it's a small community. From San Antonio, it's great. I mean, so is it from Austin, Dallas, and Houston. However, San Antonio is the 7th largest city in Texas, yet it doesn't feel that way compared to Dallas. And Houston, to me, was quite a bit more humidity and it floods a lot. Okay, they have more hurricanes, and Dallas gets colder, gets a little bit more snow. Austin, I lived in Austin, high electronic companies, lots of electronic companies that provide a lot of jobs. However, it just seems massively busy, and the cost of living was the highest in Austin. So heck no. You know, I was used to living in a smaller community, lower cost, and in Oregon it was lower cost. I mean, I had 16 acres, and I don't have that here. But you know what? I'm at an age where I don't want to be mowing my meadows with a brush hog, or cutting down trees and cutting down logs for my wood stove, even though I love an awesome fireplace and a little glass of wine or a beer at night. So San Antonio finally became my location. So I visited San Antonio several times because I had friends that had moved this, and I'm in real estate, right? So I could do real estate in both places before I even moved. So I started to do some of that. And now at this time, I do business in South Texas and also in San Antonio. So when you're thinking of moving or relocating, okay, you want to think about all those things. And it can become stressful. It can become scary, you know, because moving, relocating, buying and selling, leaving family, whatever, those are some of the major stress experiences that we go through, okay? And we get emotional attached to our home, and you know, it's a materialistic thing. However, we do get emotionally attached. And me as a realtor and investor, I've learned that, hey, you know what? That's not the thing to do. Don't get attached, okay? Because you might be moving. And today, we move so many times compared to my older family and a lot of my other friends, you know, they stayed there 30, 40, 50, 60 years, okay? And I have some brothers that have done that. Well, me, I'm adventurous. I move a lot. And I thought that at my age, okay, oh, it's gonna be scary to move. Heck no, man. I did it. I made a decision and wham, I came without furniture, without clothes, just what I needed. And so I started buying little clothes here. But my priority was to keep my expenses low, right? So I didn't go buy big, huge bedroom sets that I would have to relocate when I start to looking to buy, okay? So when you're looking to relocate or move, remember that you've got all these different factors that you need to consider, okay, before moving. If you have a chance to travel here to evaluate it, travel to the other cities, do your pros and cons, do your comparisons. And I'm providing some of that on here. So this is one experience I wanted to share with you at what it's like. And yeah, my cat got stressed out some, and it took him a few months to adjust to an apartment because he was an indoor-outdoor cat. But you know what? I adjusted to the apartment really quick, really well. I love it. Sometimes that is a decision that we want to make for that moment. And we'll make it up once we have, it's the right time to purchase a home to live in or to purchase something to invest in. Okay, and San Antonio is also a great place to invest in homes. And right now, boy, the market is hot, hot, hot with interest rates from 2 to 3%. So I hope that this helps you learn a little bit about it, okay? And I'm gonna be talking about what it's like after being here 2 years on another video. So remember, reach out to us if you want to learn anything and everything about San Antonio, Texas. Give us a call, send me a text, or send us an email, or even that little pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back. So remember to tap that subscribe button, click that little bell, so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, I love what I do. It's exciting, I'm passionate about it, and I love San Antonio, Texas, and the community that I live in, Alamo Heights. So, remember, reach out to me, give us a call, send us a text, or an email, or that little pigeon carrier. That's the only way that I'm gonna be able to help you out. And we can do, you know, Zoom call, emails, interact. There's so many ways with today's technology that COVID has shown us what we can do, has shown everybody worldwide what we can do. So guys, until next time, catch you later.